Alright, we're back for Game 2 of the Tribal Apocalypse Finals for, I don't even know what today is. Sometime early in May. The 11th, I think? Yeah. Frenzy leading on a Goblin Sledder. It's sort of his alternate sack outlet to Skirk Prospector. Doesn't really let him go off in the same way the Skirk Prospector does, but it has its own uses. Mog War Marshal joining the party on Frenzy's side. He can always go off and just act like a Goblin aggro deck as well, even though he normally is drawing into an Empty the Warrens, big Empty the Warrens off of the Fecundity sack outlet Skirk Prospector plan. But he can also go for a Bushwhacker and kill you in one turn that way. And he has a lot of things he can do once he sort of gets his engine up and running. And let's see, DirtyDuck, did he keep a... I'm assuming if he had a land, he would have played it there. So he's keeping a one land hand on the draw and whiffed on anything to get the plains to pump his Nicodle to where it could have beat in. And Frenzy was just paying the echo cost on Mog War Marshal. If he draws a Skirk Prospector, I guess it gives him one more guy to burn through. And I'm assuming if he had a Fecundity, he would have drawn it there. So Temple Garden comes down, and the Nicodle is now a 5/3. Of course, he can... And it does it with the Rancor. It does have Trample, so it's going to swing in here. Now, Frenzy could use the Goblin Sledder to try to kill it, but he doesn't care to. And then here's a Loam Lion. So Dirty had a follow-up play that he could have slapped the Rancor on anyways, if Frenzy had tried to take out the attacker. And Frenzy thinking it over here. It's at 12 life, looking at a couple of possible attackers coming in there, but here comes the Skirk Prospector. So now let's see if he has a Fecundity. He can play it this turn and try to go off. Of course, DirtyDuck could bolt the Skirk Prospector in response if he has one. And are we just going to get an Empty the Warrens for 2 here? Yeah, so Storm Count 2, so he gets 4 Goblins out of this. That will clog the board a bit and hopefully buy him some time. DirtyDuck's version of Cats does not have as much burn as like a Legacy Zoo deck would, because he's using spots for Rancor and, again, usually Berserk. I don't know if he is here. Ooh, Goblin Bushwhacker is going to come down, and that is a beating. That will almost kill him. I think that puts him to 2. Well, of course, he can block with the Loam Lion there, but the Goblin Sledder will allow him to trade with that Loam Lion if he desires, or he can sack a couple of guys and survive through the fight. Depends on how much damage he wants to do to Dirty here. Okay, so Dirty's crackback right now would be 7. He could do 12 if he has a Berserk in hand to target the Nicodle. And if he does, that would be game. He's going to channel a Rubber Pelt Maka, one of the things that I talked about in my article. And then here comes the Berserk, and that is going to finish it off. So very quickly, Cats taking down Frenzy277's goblins, which he wasn't really able to get his engine going quite in time. Dirty puts a really fast clock on you with these aggro cats, and interesting to see. I talked about in my preview for Dragon's Maze cards what cards I thought might make an impact, and mentioned that Rebel Pelt Maka was one of those because it allows you to get sort of a giant growth ability on an in-tribe creature in cats, and while that's a very narrow use, it's one that's really valuable in Tribal Wars, I think, and it looks like DirtyDuck is proving that today. So first place win for DirtyDuck with cats. He's won at least 4 or 5 times previously with that deck, so no surprise here. And that'll wrap it up for the live coverage of the finals. Thank you for joining me.